Alright guys, today I'll be showing you a super bare bones workout. So much so that I'm gonna literally be doing it in my bedroom, right where I sleep, and it requires zero equipment and it's gonna work complete your entire complete shoulders and chest, right? And triceps. So getting right into it, first movement is going to be the pike press or the pike push-up. Now, one thing that I'm going to be doing differently about this movement is how I position my arms. So, general, the pike push-up, what people will do is that they'll, of course, have their hands parallel to their shoulders in shoulder width position, or they might go out a little wider. And then they'll kind of do a tripod position, right? So they'll get into position and then they'll drive their head forwards a little bit. And then as their head touches the ground, their head and their hands make like a tripod, they make a triangle. But this, of course, is going to work the front delt more. But since we're already going to be working the front delt through other pushing exercises, why not try and work on the other heads of the shoulder, right? Like the medial and even the rear delts a little bit by doing what would be called kind of like these wide pike push-ups, where instead of you going diagonal, you're going straight down. So I'll just show you what that looks like from this side. And it is going to require a bit of mobility to do, and a bit of strength. And then, of course, with your hamstrings, if you can't get your hamstrings straight out, it's okay to bend them when you do the movement. That's what I do. That's what I have to do because I'm not that mobile in my hamstrings. So this here is going to really help with your mobility if you can get into this position. And it's going to make your shoulders a lot rounder. These are definitely effective. Remember, like I said, go straight down. Kind of like you want the top of your head to touch the ground. Some people will say, like, like I've done these on the channel before, and they're like, oh, that's not the right positioning. You're doing that. You're not doing it right. But it's intentional. It's all intentional. And I know I'm trying to work my muscles in a specific way. So I'm making sure, like, hey, let me get my arms and shoulders in this positioning. So unless it's uncomfortable for you and you feel like it's really causing you pain, then stop. But long term, this is going to allow for better mobility and better gains and safer gains actually throughout your training experience. So do supplementary exercises like behind the neck press, or just do some mobility drills with like resistance bands, or just some general stretching. So maybe one day you can work up to this type of form. Ooh. Next up will just be the standard push-up, but I'll be doing things a bit differently. I'll be doing some form cues that you might have never even heard of before, right? So, and I find that this works very good for my chest, right? Like, it's incredible, like the pump that I'll get from my chest from just these simple, like, mostly three form cues that I'll be giving to you guys, right? So, when it comes to hand positioning, of course, you're gonna go shoulder width, right? Or whatever's comfortable for you. But instead of having your palms straight up, have them turned in slightly, almost as if you're gonna be doing diamond, but you're not, right? So you're gonna be doing them like this, and you're going to have your butt up just a little bit. And I don't mean like you're gonna have your butt all the way up here and now you're cheating them. No, you're gonna get in plank position and then you're gonna have it up a little bit. And what happens is that now you're kind of angled a bit more on your chest. So now the exercise is gonna be more on your chest. So like I said, you already have your wrists turned in a little bit, your palms turned in a little bit. You have your butt up just slightly. And when you come down, of course, you want to come down slow. And then when you have your chin touch the ground, boom, you want to come up. And make sure as you're coming up, Let me show this from a different side. As you're coming up, you want to twist your elbows outwards. So it'll look like this. This will engage your chest even further at the top. And since you have your wrist turned in, with your wrist being turned in, that's going to further the rotation that you're going to have to do with your elbows. And I just find that to just work tremendously for my chest, with just like a simple basic movement that I've been doing ever since I've been training. I can just make the movement even better. Amazing. I'd like to also mention that I am doing a challenge where I'm just using a straight pull-up bar and the ground to do my exercises, right? So, and this can kind of also just show you guys like using literally almost no equipment to work out. And somebody might question, like, well, how can I work my upper chest, right? And how can I even work my lower chest, right? Like how you would with dips or elevated push-ups, right? So for one, just the standard push-up, if you do it correctly, will work the entirety of your chest almost completely. Like I just only did one set so far, and I have like this great pump in my chest already. But you can manipulate certain angles. So, like I said earlier, like with putting your butt up, you don't want to put your butt up all the way. But in this case, you kind of do want to put your butt up a little bit because now it's going to shift a bit on your upper chest. So it's kind of almost as if you're almost going to do a pike push-up, right? It's like as if you were doing a pike push-up but with improper form. Already doing a regular pike push-up will work some of your upper chest, but if you just want more tension on it without having to elevate your feet, because maybe your mom is gonna spank you for putting your feet up on furniture, but you're gonna elevate your butt up a little bit, almost like you're doing a pike, and you're just gonna go straight down and keep all the same form cues that I mentioned earlier with the regular push-up, and you'll definitely feel your upper chest. Ooh. 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 Yeah, that works. Now I'll be showing a push-up variation that will work more of the lower chest. And you might be thinking, okay, if putting my butt up in the sky is gonna work my upper chest, then wouldn't putting my butt down work my lower chest? No, not exactly. But what we're gonna do is what's called the pseudo planche push-up. Now this is seen as a shoulder exercise, but since you're at a much lower positioning, the lower chest, along with, of course, the shoulders, but the lower chest is going to have to take more of that force. So, in a way, I'm not going to say this can replace a dip, but it can be supplemented. So, you're going to put your hands around down to waistline because at first, with push ups, you'll be having your hands up here, but now you're going to have your hands about down here, about maybe below your rib cage, right? Some people can get it lower if they're strong enough, but you just want to be careful and just work at your own pace just to see what you can do. So you want to get in push-up position and maybe step a bit forward, lean forward a bit, then come down. Keep all the same form cues, there you go. I just showed you guys 3 different types of push-ups with 0 equipment, not even furniture, to work all parts of your chest, right? Your complete chest with the push-ups, and then you're gonna have the booty up push-ups for the upper chest, and then you're gonna have pseudo planche push-ups for the lower chest. Very simple, very easy, very effective. Next up is a very classic push-up, one of my favorite push-ups. It's gonna, of course, work more of the triceps. This is the diamond push-up. Now, it's not a full and complete tricep isolation, of course, because your shoulders and chest are still getting utilized here, but it is going to shift a lot more tension on your triceps. And when it comes to the form cues, I guess you would want to follow the same general form cues. And one thing to mention is that with the diamond push-up, I'll end up feeling like my chest, like my inner chest, so the center of my chest, right? And it's very interesting. It's like having that diamond position is like I'm getting an intense squeeze on my chest, especially at the top. Now, of course, I do feel my triceps, but in general, it's like I just really like the pump that I get from doing diamond push-ups. And also, all the other push-up variations that I showed you guys earlier in the video, you can do them with diamond grip as well, right? You can do diamond pike push-ups, right? If you want to challenge your triceps a lot more in that range of motion, along with your shoulders. So you can do pseudo planche push-ups, tricep. You can do upper chest push-ups, tricep. You can do regular push-ups, diamond push-ups basically, if you want to kind of bias more towards arm development and arm growth. The last exercise is for pure tricep isolation. And I would not recommend this to beginners. Hell, I can't even recommend it to myself because it's just that tough of an exercise. So I've heard some people call it the tiger push-up, but you can just call it the tricep push-up. So it's basically where you take away the usual pushing movement of the push-up, but instead now you're kind of doing the push-up off of your elbow. So I'll just show you guys how this looks. So you're like this, come down, and you press up, and that's just about all of your tricep right there. Now you can see my hands are a bit far forward because of how hard the movement is. I can't do it like this parallel because that'll just be like a major stretch on my joints, on my shoulders, and on my elbow. So you really want to be careful. You want to make sure you're warmed up too a little bit. And of course, you can do like a diamond position as well. And you can do something where you might go to your forehead like this and then press up. And then just do it like that. Or you can just, of course, have your palms parallel to each other like how I did earlier. Now, this movement would be easier if you elevated your hands up on a surface like a table or gymnastic rings or a parallel bar. But of course, I'm working with no equipment. So I have to show you guys how you can do it with no equipment. And of course, like how I had throughout that whole set, having your butt up, like how you might be doing a push-up to work your upper chest, that will make the movement easier because it's less total tension and less of your weight going on the triceps in general. And since your arms are going out forward, you're kind of shifting your weight backwards a little bit. So I got a pretty good pump on my triceps just by doing that. So definitely, I would say if you're a beginner, definitely just work on doing push-ups. Of course, you want to work with different variations and progressions, right? So like I said, you can do them off of a table or off of a desk. You can use parallettes. You can use rings, right? Because you're adjusting the height. The higher it is, the easier it's going to be. So that's maybe something you can start off with before going straight to the floor. And of course, you want to be warmed up. So that's why I saved my isolation for last, because my shoulders and my elbows were already warmed up enough. to withstand the movement. So therefore, I'm not like, overworking my tendons or anything like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.